Hello, viewers. You're warmly welcome to this edition of Pay Your Tax. This edition is a special one, as it is a season of Nigerian Independence. We are using this edition, therefore, to showcase the various thoughts of the Executive Chairman of Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, Mr. Tolu Adegbie. As you know, he is a financial sector expert as a thoroughbred revenue administrator. He will be speaking on tax collection and administration in Ondo State. My name is Tolu Adegbie.
Akéèdè arákùnrin Ọdúnayọ̀ Olúwarótìmí Akérédolú. No doubt, the Oluwarotimi Akeredolu administration is daily delivering on its promises to the people of the Sunshine State. Dividends of good governance of reaching citizens in forms of road construction across the state, attraction of solid industrial base for the state, potential utilization of diverse resources of the state, creating jobs through agri-value chains, making schools in the state accessible as well as conducive for learning, encouragement of community projects through government funding, and bringing smiles to the faces of the public service workers again through regular payment of salaries and rehabilitation of moribund boreholes in the state, to mention a few. Ulala! Akiti is working. Governor Akeredolu is working his top. The sun is shining again on the lives of the people of the Sunshine State. Having done this much for the good of all in Ondo State, the Oluwarotimi Akeredolu administration says more life-changing projects for all citizens are underway. Therefore, encourage the state government by paying your tax today for all nooks and crannies to become heaven of comfort for all. Pay your tax, as tax brings development. This message is sponsored by the Ondo State Internal Revenue Service.
Now, to start with, let us have Mr. Tolu Adegbie speak on efforts at making ODIRS an improved hub for revenue generation in Ondo State.
A good example of the impact of planning is this building, this complex. We came in 2018, January, we planned that we needed to put up a structure like this. By June, 6 months after, we had already started the architectural design, all of that. By the end of 2018, we put it in the budget for the state for 2019. The budget was approved in 2019, and construction started in February 2019, and it was finished in 2020. So you can imagine, within 6 months of coming on board, because it was part of the plan that I told you, the strategic document that we came up with, that we needed to do something like this. So within 6 months, everything was done. By the end of the first year, it was already in the budget for next year. And the following year, we executed. We got the money from Mr. Governor, and we executed. So, and then see where we are. Everybody's talking about this building. At least this one I know. Because people who come for driver's license and all of that, you know where they used to be to get driver's license. They say, we know how it is now, and they have officer environment and all of that. So the impact of planning cannot be overemphasized in terms of our result. This is a living example of what we're able to do with good planning and execution.
Do you know that it is a culture in ODIRS to meet with concerned stakeholders before the commencement of a policy? Let us hear from the Executive Chairman.
Consultation is key. You know, one of the principles that we work with here is we want to engender what we call voluntary compliance of tax payments. You cannot get people to voluntarily comply with tax payments if you don't engage them. And we have so many examples. When we're going to start the land use charge, we went out, we called stakeholders. They were not collecting much before, maybe 7 million a year and all of that. We called the stakeholders and we spoke to them. And they told them their reservations, and we went and we got approval. We sorted out all the issues around their reservations. And now today, and then they embraced it. Nigerian officers surveyors, the various landlords of various associations, of various housing estates in the state, and all of that. And they embraced it. Today, from where we were getting 7 million a year, last year we did over 200 million from land use. We have captured houses in the state. We've captured more than 218,000 houses in Ondo State, registered in our database. So it's the consultation that brings about all of this. Recently, we wanted to start the implementation of the hotel consumption tax. So we had to call in the Association of Hoteliers in Ondo State, and they came and they spoke to us. They said things like they didn't want to pay before and all things like that, because government does what they like. But because we have come to meet them, we've approached them and we've spoken to them that they will consider it. So when it comes to tax payments and running the policy of voluntary compliance, consultation is key. Everything is not enforcement, locking up people's source of income and things like that. No. If we engage them, you talk to them, you engender voluntary compliance, and they will pay willingly, and then everybody will be happy. Money will come in and will not be overheating the political environment in the state. So it's a deliberate strategy on our part, and we believe that it's working.
Land use charge is a revenue scheme in Ondo State, backed up by a law. Mr. Tolu Adegbie has his thoughts on this law, otherwise known as property tax.
Our policy on enforcement is in line with what the law says. We don't have any other policy apart from what the law says. Before now, the law that was being applied was the 2004 Personal Income Tax Act, which says the chairman has the power to distrain, and that if anybody does not pay, the chairman has the power to distrain and go and carry goods and products and things like that without recourse to a court of law. However, 2011, the law was changed, and the law now says that the law took that power away from the chairman of the Internal Revenue Service and gave it to the courts. That now, before you can actually distrain somebody's goods, if they don't pay, that's enforced. If they don't pay, they'll take the person to the court. So for land use, the issue is very simple. The court says if you don't pay after 30 days, we have a right to take it to court and we charge 100% a penalty. So you're supposed to pay 20,000, for example, you can pay another penalty of 20,000. And then if you still don't pay, we apply to the court for forfeiture, and then the court will take away that property from that person. They cancel the CFO if they have CFO. If they don't have CFO, court will order that the property should be forfeited to the state government. And once we take it, that court judgment, take it to Mr. Governor, he approves it, and then we gazette it, and then that's it. Property does not belong to you anymore. So we follow the law. We don't have any other policy apart from the law. It's what the law says that we follow in terms of our policy on enforcement. The number of notices, days notice you give, we give. If you need to see, if you need to sue, we sue. We have a lot of people that we've taken to court now. In fact, the rate at which you take people to court now on land use, we just pack 100, 200, we just go, court to service summons, and then people realize that it's actually easier and more convenient for you to pay a land use charge of 20,000 naira when they bring the bill than to go to court. Going to court, you take a lawyer because somebody must defend you. You come to the court. They will, come today, come tomorrow, and all that. Over how much? 20,000 naira for 4 years, 5,000 a year, maximum 10,000 a year. Allah, you know how much that space will cost, and all of that. So what we do now is that we just take people to court in line with what the law says. But we can no longer take action on our own. The court must make a pronouncement.
Warm greetings to owners of landed property, buildings for residential or commercial purposes in Ondo State. Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, ODIRS, wishes to inform you that revenue officers are in all towns and villages across Ondo State to assess your property and assist in your payment processes under the Land Use Charge Law 2014. Thank you for collaborating with the government of Arakunrin Oluwarotimi Akeredolu in its determination to make Ondo State the best place through the provision of functional services and infrastructure. ODIRS. Across our dear Sunshine State, you can see what your tax revenues are doing on daily basis. Land use charge is convenient to pay by property owners annually, be it in high-density areas whose payment is 10,000 naira, medium zone 5,000 naira, and base value zones
1,000 naira only.
For further inquiries, call the following numbers: 0188397000 or 09284770004, or send WhatsApp messages to this number 08104864804. Pay your tax, as tax brings development. This message is from Ondo State Internal Revenue Service.
Training and retraining of staff is a project on its own in ODIRS. How and why? The chairman has a lot to say.
We felt we need to do some form of training. We call it soft skills training for all the staff in ODIRS, including the youth corpers, NYC, who are with us. So soft skills training is about business writing, comportment, corporate behavior in the office, how to talk to customer, how to assert yourself, what is acceptable, work-life balance, the whole gamut of things that you ordinarily would not be taught in a classroom. They say you can't give what you don't have. We have recruited almost 400 people. We've put them to serve the whole population of the state. But the fact is that, have we even taught them some social behavior that's acceptable in terms of corporate social behavior? How to talk to people, how to handle an angry taxpayer, for example, and things like that. Even what to wear. Some people still believe that it's what you wear when you're in the university that you can wear to work. Of course, that's wrong. So you need to tell them, and it's not only by human resources telling them what to wear. No, there has to be some form of training. So we got people that came over, people who knew what they were talking about, people who have worked in Nigeria, people who have worked abroad, came to Ondo State Akure, and they trained all our staff, the whole 540 of us. Every single person was trained on soft skills, So, and I believe that going by the results, because now I see my staff, they dress better, they actually look better. I hear the kind of English they speak, they've improved a lot, and I get feedback from people who say that, wow, are these people actually staff? Are these people civil servants or public servants? They look more like corporate people. We're also getting results in terms of the revenue that we're generating. Because sometimes people want to pay, but they look at the person in front of them, the way the person looks, and this person just puts me off. So, but now they see us in different lights. I think the goodwill is better, and I think it worked. In any case, there's one thing that nobody can take away from you, which is the knowledge that you have gotten. So that knowledge that we have imparted on our people, I'm sure it will stay with them for the rest of their lives. So it's very important to us.
Do you know that transacting any tax business with ODIRS is as simple as A, B, and C? No stress, no hassles. Take a listen to Mr. Chairman.
One of the things that we owe you is to make your payment experience seamless and easy, so it's not frustrating. You shouldn't have to go to the bank and the bank tells you no network, come back tomorrow. We've tried to streamline that. We've opened an account. Just send the money, whatever it is that you want to pay to that account. Inform us by WhatsApp. We will do the rest for you. So you don't need to even visit any bank to do any kind of payment again. No, you don't. So I will always try and make the process seamless and easy for you. And then when you pay to us, to the account, you get your receipt. This same official receipt, but the one that usually receipt, you get it. So that's one of the things that we owe you. And of course, we also owe you, so I will try to be fair in that respect. But so if we are doing all of this, and government as ODIRS, to make it convenient for you, to make it easy for you to pay, and government is also spending the money judiciously, you can see it, then we can only just appeal to the people of Ondo State to just continue to pay their taxes. As you get your assessment, as you get your bill, be it land use, be it business premises, be it direct assessment, be it whatever fee rates are levied, please just pay those taxes. You can even pay instrumentally if you decide to. You can, why not? You can, but please pay your tax, and you will get your government receipt for every single cover that you pay.
Despite the fact that tax is low, enforcement is usually done with human face, as ODIRS is pursuing a tax-friendly policy in Ondo State. Let's join Mr. Chairman.
These taxes and rates and levies are backed by law, and the law stipulates sanctions for if you do not pay. Now, we are supposed to implement those sanctions. If we don't implement, then it means also we are aiding and abetting the non-payment of taxes. So for us not to also be complicit in people not paying their taxes, for us not to be aiding and abetting people not doing the right thing, we will have no choice. By enforcement, we mean people who have not paid land use, people who have not paid business premises, people who have not paid direct assessments. We will seal up. We'll first give you due to seal notices, then we'll come and seal. And then when people pay, we unseal. We'll do a lot of that so that it's not that we're trying to intimidate people into paying. No. It's just so that we should not be seen to be complicit and aiding and abetting. No, we won't do that. Everybody will expect everybody should be law abiding. If the law says this is what they're supposed to do, then that's what it's supposed to do. And if the Internal Revenue Service have made it very convenient to pay, then the only challenge you may have is maybe inability to pay in terms of finances. But the Internal Revenue Service have not come out to say you can even pay it instrumentally. So what more do we want? Really, there's nothing else. There's really no way. There's anything else anybody wants, except the people who are just obstinate and who are just unwilling. Not because they don't have capacity, but because they are unwilling. And for those who go out, we'll enforce, start with commercial properties, and then move to private properties. So we will.
Finally, a big relief is here for taxpayers in Ondo State. Without an express payment of all taxes, charges, fees, and fines are now made easier through the banks approved by the Ondo State Internal Revenue Service. Access Bank, First Bank, Polaris Bank, Union Bank, UBA, Wema Bank, Unity Bank, and Zenith Bank. Others are Stanbic IBTC, Kickstone, Guaranteed Trust Bank, Fidelity Bank, FCMB, EcoBank, and Sterling Bank. Pay to the banks directly. Don't give your cash to anyone. For further inquiries, call the following numbers: 01-8839-7000 or 09-284-77004, or send WhatsApp messages to this number 08104864804. Contact us at ODIRS.ng or info@odirs.ng. Also, chairman at ODIRS.ng. Our website is www.odirs.ng. Pay your tax, as tax brings development. Ondo State Internal Revenue Service announcer.
We are rounding off this edition of Pay Your Tax with the recent launch of Consolidated Demand Notice, CDN, in Ondo State. My dear viewer, you will soon realize that CDN is to enable you pay your tax with ease and comfort.
We decided that it's high time in Ondo State that we introduce what we call a Consolidated Demand Notice. Consolidated Demand Notice is a notice that consolidates all the annual rates, levy, fee, permits, etc. into a single assessment payable by business owners and corporate organizations. So this reduces to the various minimum multiplicity of revenue collectors wasting such business. So the implication of this is that instead of having 4 MDAs coming to your office on a yearly basis, each one asking for different things, leading to fatigue of business owners, one person, ODIRS, will represent all these people, put all the notices, all the monies you are supposed to pay into one demand notice, and then we'll come and serve it to you at the beginning of the year. And when we were developing these things, or this consolidated demand notice, we decided that we're going to start to implement it with a few ministries as a pilot scheme, and also to work with just about 3 industries as a pilot scheme. Specifically, we are targeting Ministry of Commerce. They collect what we call business premise. We are working with Ondo State Advertisement and Signage Agency, OSA. They collect business. They collect permits, signage, and then we're working with the Ministry of Works. They collect fire regulations, and then of course ODIRS. So those are the specific agencies that we are working with. And then we said, okay, which are the industries that we'll start with? So we're starting with the banks, the hotels in Akure, and also the banks, the hotels, and the petrol stations. So those are the 3 agencies. And very soon, or sooner or later, or let me say very soon, we'll be expanding it to all sectors of the state.
Businesses will not have to suffer that multiplicity, because now the revenue is consolidated. Everybody is a win-win for everybody. I congratulate you, Mr. Adegbie, for pushing this through. I congratulate the people of Ondo State.
This innovation is going to help us in achieving our target, especially those of us that are responsible for collection of levies, rates, and other government revenue. One area that, as Minister of Commerce, that we're going to see as being beneficial is this cumbersome application of demand notices, because it's been a great challenge for us. Most time we need to print documents, and most time the fund may not be there to immediately achieve this. In our own ministry, we want to thank you for this, because we're going to lift up a great burden of our children by coming up with this consolidated demand notice.
On behalf of people at the grassroots in Ondo State, we are very happy, let me just use that language now, for including us in this project. Because whatever or however a project or a program could be, the people at the grassroots must be included. And now that we have been included, it is a plus for this project, because we are going to take this message to the nook and crannies of Ondo State.
The consolidated demand notice is a notice that consolidates the totality of the annual rates, levies, fee, permits, and other taxes into a single assessment payable by business owners, banks, hotels, corporate organizations, and all other institutions, registered institutions undertaking commercial activities within the state. What this does is that it reduces to the barest minimum the incessant visits or the multiplicity of visits of revenue collectors to your business premises. I'm sure a lot of you get infuriated and get confused at times when you see revenue collectors coming at different times and seeking to collect different and numerous kinds of taxes. That you will no longer see from now. I make bold to say that this website and other components integrated with it will change the revenue generation narrative of this state.
I'm convinced you have enjoyed this edition of Pay Your Tax, just as you can see evidences of tax payment on developments in your neighborhood. Next week, we will be here by His grace. My name is Tolu Adegbie. God bless you, God bless ODIRS, God bless Ondo State, and God bless Nigeria. Please keep paying your tax.